Good morning. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to discuss something that's up and coming, my understanding, coming over from the House to the Senate. The governor's, I believe the lightning plan is what it's called. Legislative package includes an array of bills that have some level of DEP involvement for some of them not. Specifically HB 502 that I believe is supposed to be voted out of the House Energy Committee this morning, which creates a statewide siting board eliminating local control over energy infrastructure development. You would be the chair of that new siting board. How do you feel about having to serve on a board that entails a voting member that is a political action committee? The Pennsylvania Chamber is politically involved across Pennsylvania, representing its various 10,000, some Fortune 500 companies. So this isn't just small business we're talking about, but big companies that have been in the energy space for decades. Do you feel prepared to kind of, hash that out with these entities where your role in the Department of Environmental Protections versus the risk of further exploitative capitalism in Pennsylvania?
So on the question of the reset board, I think there's a couple of questions in there. So on the question of the reset board, I think it's, I think as state leaders, all of us, myself included, the governor, all of you, really need to think about what our goals for energy are. And I think that the package of bills that has been presented by the governor's office represents what his goals are, which is to bring additional development of energy resources onto the PJM grid. Now, I'm not going to get into some of the issues with PJM, but what I will say is that the necessary energy resources, electricity resources that this state is going to need into the future are vast. The Electrify Everything movement is great for air quality, but it does constrain our grid significantly. So, we are supportive of the board, the reset board, because what it does is it eliminates one of the roadblocks or barriers that folks have to bringing additional electricity and electricity generation sources onto our grid. I'm reading a book. I can't quite endorse it yet because I'm not done with it. But the book really talks about sometimes the perverse outcomes that policies have. And when you think about zoning, zoning sometimes has an outcome that prevents things that people want or people need. I don't think that this board is meant to eliminate zoning and municipal requirements, but I think it is meant to bring people together in partnership with various interests to find the best places to site energy. This is something that I've done a lot of thinking about. I've had some conversations with Senator Vogel about it, as he's concerned about farmland preservation, as I am as well. If we can use the reset board to direct developers to place energy sources on abandoned mine lands or brownfields, I think it's really an opportunity. And I don't know that developers necessarily have that big picture view. On the question of working with the chamber, I can tell you that the Department of Environmental Protection has had a very long-standing relationship working with the Pennsylvania Chamber of Business and Industry. I meet with them quarterly, and we discuss different ways that we can help businesses to comply with regulations, because that's really what it's about. We all want to see environmental compliance. So as we update regulations, as we move forward with new initiatives, we always try to talk with them to gain their perspectives. And I do think that they have a perspective to bring. On that board, would it be a controlling perspective? No, it wouldn't be. But it is an additional voice that I think that folks should consider, which is, the business community.
Yeah, I think my concern is that the board is designed to have, I think there's an amendment maybe to have 2 additional local government people on this board, but they would be trounced by the votes of others. There's not enough local representation in terms of having local communities be told by a board that doesn't live there. And this is for any type of energy. I'm not just saying oil and gas. In my mind, it applies to solar, wind, and hydro. If you don't live there and you don't know, and the vagueness of the language of that legislation and what it would allow, and especially in terms of this increased demand that isn't necessarily for consumer demand. It's for-profit demand of data centers, and that's fine, but we also have, if that has to be balanced with the public's needs and the public's access to power and electricity at a rate that isn't, making them go broke, there's still people without power right now. So that's not your area, but I'm just saying as your role on the board, it is going to be difficult to balance the demands of those who want to do business in Pennsylvania with, the needs of the public and the rights of the public, because, the constitutionality of that legislation is incredibly questionable, if not, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it certainly goes back to the Act 13 court situation. So I appreciate your candid answer, though. Thank you.